Hi, this is Dawn Hunter from Vine Studios and Vine Training Academy in Seattle, Washington. My background is I am a master esthetician. I've owned a medical spa for 8 years. I've taught laser technology, and I'm also a permanent makeup artist and trainer and have been doing that for the same amount of time. And what I wanted to talk to you today about was how anesthetics actually work on a physiological level. Before I got into this business, I had a degree in chiropractic, so I pretty much held every piece of the human body in my hand, and honestly, the body is more fascinating than you can imagine. So I wanted to do this quick little education snippets that I'm going to be bringing to you about some deeper levels of skin, of how the physiology of anesthetics works, and I want you all to become experts in anesthetics. So I want to talk a little bit just today about actually how do they work? How do we actually numb? How do we numb a client? What's actually going on at that level? The more that you know, the more empowered you are. I always tell my students that knowledge is power. So it's good for us in the profession, especially permanent makeup artists that honestly don't get the best training in anesthetics, that you really understand from a physiological standpoint what is happening to your client so that you know if you're doing it right, okay? So number one, what is actually numbing? That's kind of an interesting question, isn't it? Like some people think that you put the topical on the skin and then the skin doesn't feel it, or it just gets it really cold. I've heard all kinds of things. The truth be known, your brain is the pain sensor, okay? Take it back again. The brain is the pain sensor. So what happens when we feel pain on our skin, right? It's a signal that's going to nerves that are in our skin. So we have different kinds of nerves in our skin. I won't get into all the details. I am a neuro geek. I do love this stuff. But anyway, for our purposes today, we have nerves that are called sensory nerves. And what they do is they sense. And so when you have a kind of a tapping, or you have a cutting, or you have a scrape, there's lots of different kinds of sensory nerves that have different reactions in our body, but the one we'll focus on is how about numbing. So in the brows, you're numbing, or the eyeliner, lips are doing a procedure. What you're doing with anesthetics, good anesthetics, I mean good ones, is you're actually changing the nerve impulse that leads to the brain. So the only thing the topical does, a good topical, is actually cause a change in the nerve impulse temporarily so that the brain pretty much doesn't get that message that there's a pain sensor going on. Okay, that's all really good anesthetics do. They don't make the skin cold. They don't numb the surface of the skin necessarily. What they do is they make the brain so it can't hear the noise. Okay? Knowing that makes you choose a better anesthetic. So there's a thing in the way our nerves run. Okay, I'm not going to try and get too deep, but I am going to be teaching a really good skin and nerve class coming up, so stay tuned. Vine Skin's going to go really deep. So I drew this little drawing over here because, quite honestly, I just don't have enough time to do a bunch of animation. Hope you can see this okay. But basically what this is right here, this is a nerve cell, okay? This is your brain, and this is where the nerve endings come. So that there's all different kinds of nerves, but this is for our purposes a sensory nerve. So we have these things called nociceptors, and what they do is they're at the very ends of our skin, like where our eyebrows are, and they're the ones that are just waiting to get the signals that are coming to through the skin to the body. And what they do with those signals is they send the signals along a pathway that goes to the brain, and then the brain senses the pain, right? So that's how it works on a really simple level. The way anesthetics action works is it actually goes into a portion of that nerve cell and it blocks what we call the sodium channels. So the way that the nerves move things through, it's kind of like a pumping motion. You know, it starts over here and then a chain reaction occurs, boom, and it goes lightning speed up to the brain. And these sodium channels are what make it flow. It's kind of like what I would say like a piston action, up and down. They domino next to each other. So what the anesthetic does is it blocks part of that sodium channel temporarily for a certain period of time to allow us to do the work that we need to do. And the nice thing is it's not permanent, okay? So again, pain is felt in the brain, not necessarily on the skin. okay? And understanding that makes you understand how an anesthetic works really well. Now, having said that, the anesthetic has to do a couple of jobs. It has to get to the area that it needs to go, right? So it has to have a driver to get in there. It needs to be strong enough to work, but not too strong that it can cause toxicity. And what we found with plush anesthetics is that a triple blend tends to cover all the bases the best. When you have a benzocaine, tetracaine, lidocaine combination, which is called BLT in the medical arena, what it does is there's some fast acting and there's long acting, and the way that they blend together synergistically make the sodium channel block a lot better than, for instance, a 5% lidocaine, okay? So my goal in this permanent makeup profession is to bring you the best topicals ever, teach you how to use them, teach you the physiology behind it, teach you as much as I can profess about skin, and make you feel so much more confident in your practice and help your patients feel happy and calm while you're working on them. All right, Dawn Hunter signing out. Love you.